subject. But I want you to know that this weekend is going to be a dramatic change for you. This is where you're going to turn your ACN business around. Maybe you're a new IDO that just got started today. Maybe this is going to change the rest of your life. I'm going to share with you 2 fundamental keys to success. 2 fundamental keys to not only help your business grow, but for your future IDOs. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. For those of you who don't know me, I started ACN with really, they like to call it in a courtroom, a key eyewitness, per se, right? I saw my parents before the age of 19 start ACN. I saw my parents for 5 years previous grow this business, become very successful, help tens of thousands of people succeed. I saw people from all ages, all different walks of life, all cultures, all religions, all backgrounds. I saw 19-year-olds become millionaires. I saw elderly people be able to, at the age of 75, cross the stage as team coordinators. I saw people just like you, just like me, believe in the vision of ACN, believe in themselves, and believe in their cause. Believe in their cause. What's your cause today? Think about it. Why are you here right now? Is it because you're fighting for your family? Is it because maybe you want a better life for your parents, the one they never had? Maybe it's because you just want to help people. Maybe this is a vehicle for you to help other people. But mindset is where it's going to start. The foundation of your business. The foundation of your business. So after watching my parents succeed, as a key eyewitness to ACN, I came into ACN not asked. I didn't come into ACN because somebody tried to talk me into it. I didn't come into ACN like most of you off of presentation. Who here saw a presentation and decided to do ACN? And take a look around. Not me. My parents said, don't do ACN. Finish school. ACN will always be around. It's sort of hard with the deregulation of energy, right? You know, a key to my success, I believe, is because I had belief. I had the belief. Write that word big in your notes, belief. You see, everything in ACN is built around belief. Everything in your life is built around belief. Think about it. Belief in religion. What about if you only trust God 90% of the time? You think you're going to fall? What about your marriage? What about if you only believe in your marriage 90% of the time? You think you're going to get a divorce? What about your kids? What about if you only believe in your kids 90% of the time? You think they're going to succeed? You see, belief is the key fundamental to anything. The circle of life is belief. Even if you can't see it. Because every single one of you in this room is a senior vice president. You just can't see it yet. You just can't see it yet. And so the 2 things I'm going to share with you are going to help build that belief. Make you realize, this is mine. I'm not going to take it. It's time that you fight for your family. Fight for what you believe in. And this is it. This is where it starts. Are you ready? Ready. Let's get started. Mindset. Go back 1 slide. This is for new IDOs. You see, there's 2 types of people in ACN right now in this room. There's new IDOs. If you're a new IDO in the first 30 days of your business, raise your hands right now. And congratulations for making a smart decision. You see, when a new IDO starts ACN, it's important for everybody to understand where they're coming from. Think about the first time you started ACN. Think about the feelings. Did you know where you were going to be? Did you know how long it was going to take? Did you know who was going to help you? You didn't. So when I think of new IDOs, I think of the word whitewater. Write that down. White water. And if you think about white water rafting, it's sort of like the ACN new IDO journey. Coming from our senior vice president. Why? Think about it. It's a current, right? So think about whitewater. You get in the car because you have to drive up the hill, right, to go rafting. But what do you see at the bottom? You see all the people that have already done it. And they're all excited, and they're wet, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a crazy journey. We're talking about class 6 here. Because ACN's class 6, right? And so you're all excited. You're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a fun ride. Think about all the successful people you see walking the stage back and forth, right? Shaking hands, top producers. And you go, man, that looks fun. I'm going to be there. And then you get to the top and you look down and you go, oh, a little bit scared, but a little bit of excitement, right? Think about your feelings. When you stepped in ACN, were you fearful and excited? Right? And before you get in the raft, what do? They give you your tools. They give you your tools. They give you the oar, your life jacket, and your helmet, right? Think about when you started ACN and somebody gave you tools. Right? They prepared you for what was ahead. And then you see the current, right? You see the current. And you see the speed of it when you start going, right? And it's fast, right? You don't hop into a slow current, you just hop into a fast current. Did any of you experience that in ACN? You're going to say, okay, we're going to get you started and we're going to have your home meeting the next day. I did. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm going to dip my toes in and see how it feels, right? So when you got an ACN new IDO, any of you feel like it's just fast-paced already? Maybe this is your first event. You're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot to digest, right? Maybe you guys felt that at your first presentation. Oh man, this is a lot to digest. I don't know what's ahead. I don't know if I can keep up. And you start going down the river in your first 30 days. And then when you go down the river, don't you see people on the shore? They're having picnics, and they're having fun, and they're partying. Kim Kaler's partying. It's her birthday. Right? And you go, man, that looks fun. And they're like, come on over to the shore. We're having fun, we're having party. Anybody of you experienced that in ACN, where you're working hard through the current? And your friends are like, oh man, that looks so hard, just come over on the shore with us. 9 to 5, you're off at 5, we're going to party. Right? But what do you keep doing? You keep rowing. You go, no. No. You're focused. Why? Because you have a guide. That's the last part of this. You have a guide. And what does the guide do? He has an invested interest in your success. Think about that. Think of the one person that was there for you in your first 30 days of business said, I'm going to guide you. Your success is my success, right? Because if this boat's flipping over, who else is in it? Right? And sometimes you get people in your boat, maybe in your team, that don't know how to row yet, and you see the boat going like this, spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning, and the guy's going, left, 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 right? And if you feel like you're spinning right now, you don't know what to do. Maybe your team's taking off really fast, right? You're spinning, your mentor, your coach, let's keep rowing. So what's the guide there to do? He's protecting you from what? Obstacles. Think about it. Your mentor at ACN is doing what with you? In your first 30 days of business. They're going to protect you. Unless you do what? Jump out of the boat? You don't want to do that. Unless you're not coachable to what they're saying. If they say left and you go right, you're going to go right into an obstacle and boom, fall on your face. You see, that happened in my business. My first journey, my first rapid was great, man. I went right out of the gate shooting. Whoo! $3,000 in my first month. But I made a left turn when my mentor was saying to take a right. And I did one IDO in February. One. Why? I pretty much jumped out of the boat. I flew. And what happened when I hit the water? I had to learn how to swim fast. I was like paddling. I'm like, Mom, Dad, don't leave me behind. Thank goodness I had a life jacket on, right? But you see, that's the point. I had to learn how to swim. You see, your mentor, your guide, do you think they're going to jump in the water after you? Or are they staying on the raft, trying to get you in? Think about that. How many times have you fell, and you're like, man, why isn't my leader like in the water with me? Why aren't they just doing it for me? Why aren't they jumping in and getting me like a lifeguard and pulling me back in? Why? How many of you experienced that? You know why? Because when somebody is drowning, what do they want to do? Take the other person down with them. They're going to sink your boat too. You think your mentor is going to sink their own ship trying to rescue you? No. But they'll paddle hard to catch you. Anybody experience that? Or going to? So I learned how to swim. I learned how to swim fast, and it taught me a lesson. Be coachable. New IBOs. Be coachable. You don't want to fall out of the raft. Your guide knows all the obstacles, right? They're trained. They're going to tell you exactly what to do, when to make the turn, when to jump, when to fall, when to leap, when to cry, when to sing. Second, current ideas. Who's been in the business more than 60 days? Woo! It looks like everybody. You see, there's two forces in your business that you will relate to. I like to call it headwind. Think about the definition. A headwind is when you're running forward motion. And there's an opposite motion, what? Pushing you back. They're pushing you back. Anybody experience a headwind in their business, in their life of business in ACN? Let me define this headwind in ACN. There's two parts. There's the physical headwind and the emotional headwind. The physical headwind starts like this. You start off in your business, you're running, you have your leader with you, they're motivating you, you get around the first lap and they're gone. They were just your buddy for a minute. Then what happens? You get a headwind. It's called a dead leg. Anyone have one of those in their business? I did. You see, after I got back into the raft, it was after my 60 days, and then I started going down the river again. I had 2 Great Legs, and my cousin's in here, so my cousin's leg was my dead leg. He's family, so I can say it, okay? Sorry, Travis. Does it ever feel in your dead leg like you have a headwind? Think about it. You're working harder for the same results. Man, I just did 2 PDRs. I got none signed up. I did 5 one-on-ones today. No one signed on the spot. I did 20 home meetings this month, and I got 5 people started in my business. What's going on? Can you relate to that? Because that's what was happening in my business. I felt that I was working way too hard for the same results. Like I was getting underpaid. Was something wrong with me? No. You see, the perception of human beings is this in ACN. If you have a headwind, you think it's all your fault. Am I right? You know when it's your fault? And you know when people fell? When they stop running against that headwind. Because what does that headwind do? Knocks you down on the ground. You won't be able to get back up. I've seen it too many times. I don't want to see it in your business. It's important to know that you're going to have headwinds throughout your whole business in ACN. It's not just an ETT thing. It's just not an ETL or a TC thing. It goes all the way to the top of the chain. You don't think senior vice presidents have bad days? But you know what headwinds do when you work harder? You want to know? They build muscle. I know, I had to throw Artie in there, because now he's fat. I could only find this picture on the internet. All the other ones, he's just fat and gross. You ever see the movie Blubber? It's like, that's not good. So, I don't want to show that, but think about it. You know what makes you strong? Is when you run against that headwind, what are you doing? You're gaining ACN muscle. Why do you think no one's going to help that third leg upright, build that out? You think your leader's going to do it for you? And maybe some of you are mad at your leader because you're like, man, they're not going to help me build this third leg. Be honest. Who feels like that? You're not going to raise your hands because you're probably sitting by your leader. But look in the mirror. You know why your leader's not doing it for you? You don't think that they can do it? They can do it. It'd probably take them 30 days to finish that leg for you. You know why they're not going to do it? Because you're not ready. You don't have the ACN muscle yet. You don't have it yet. You know where you gain it? A dead third leg in every TC, every RD, every RVP and SVP had one. We're all the same in this room. There's nobody in this room that is different than one another. You know what the difference is? It's just the time. It's just the time. They've been running the race a lot longer than you have. Unless you're Mark and Teresa Palos. The second thing that happens in a headwind, physical headwind, is you get tired, you get fatigued. Not like that, but you get fatigued, right? You go, I can't breathe. Maybe I should take a break. You ever feel like when you run on the track, you just got to bend over, but your coach says what? Hands over your head and keep walking. No cramps. Hands over your head and keep walking. Keep jogging. Keep moving. Right? You ever have days in your business, in life, in family where you're fatigued? Where you go, I don't think I can make it another day. But what keeps you going? What keeps you going every day? You see, the other part is sacrifice. Sacrifice. Who's made sacrifices to be here today? That's what I thought. You know, it's not very fun being a regional director when I haven't even seen my wife in 2 weeks. You think that's fun for me? You think I don't make sacrifices? You see, it doesn't matter what position you are in ACN, you'll make sacrifices. Why? Because the end outcome is worth it. Your why is worth it. Yeah, who cares? I'm not going to see my wife in 2 weeks. But you know what's going to happen? In 2 years, I'll never not see her. Sacrifices. What does this do in your business? It creates endurance. Creates endurance for the road ahead, because the greater the success that you have, the greater the burden, the greater the responsibility. You think Bill Gates, billionaire, doesn't have a lot of responsibility sitting on his shoulders? The greater the success, the greater the burden. Jesus, how much burden, how much sacrifice do you think he was carrying when he went to the cross? A little bit? You think he endured for the end outcome? There's a purpose to this. There's a purpose. What's yours? Second part, emotional headwind. Emotional, because this is just physical, right? When you're running against that headwind, there's two things. Ache, sacrifice, pain. But what's going on psychologically? Maybe you're like I was after a year of building, saying, when's my time going to come? When am I going to be on stage? When am I going to be in the top charts? When am I going to make a TC? When am I going to be promoted RD? When is my RVP day? When's my time? When's yours? You know what emotional does? When you're in that headwind, you lose sight of your goal. Any of you lose sight at times? You get too caught up in what you're facing that you can't even see what's ahead. Maybe you lose self-confidence. Right? Maybe you're like, man, I'm just not as fast as I was. But you know what? You are. You're just in a headwind. Maybe you're not as good enough as the person next to you. No, you're even better because they're not in a headwind right now. Look to your left and right. None of you are having the same experience in ACN. Some of you are facing tailwinds. Some of you are facing headwinds. And some of you are just creating sidewinds. And we'll go to that later. Right? You know what your emotional side creates to this headwind? The outcome of being able to build that muscle, create that endurance. The end result is this. When you started ACN, your why was not as big as your why right now. You see, when I started ACN, my why was small. I want a Lamborghini. I'm 19, right? And Teresa Palos, newly promoted regional director, said it perfectly. Your why is going to be like a box on Christmas Day that keeps getting smaller every time you open it. Have you ever had one of those presents where you're like, when am I going to get to the end of this thing? Maybe it's just me. Okay. right? So the first box is maybe you just want an extra $1,000. You're money motivated, right? Of course everybody is. People say, I'm not in it for the money, I'm just in it to help others. No, please, stop lying to yourself. I don't see you writing a check out of your job, 25 grand a month. You open up the first box. No, it's more than money. Wow, this can create more time with my family. Everyone has the family story in ACN, right? Just like my parents. You know, their why was it to bring my dad home with our family in the beginning? It was just to pay enough, it was just to make enough extra money to feed us. When I grew up, we were living on cookie dough. You think I'm joking? No. We were barely getting by. I will never forget that. I will never forget the roots I come from. Because there's some of you in here today doing the same thing. You open up the next box. Debt-free. No stress. Believe it or not, having no debt in your life creates zero stress. Imagine. And the last box, well, that's your why. I don't know your why. But it gets to a point in your life where that why in that little box becomes so precious that you will do anything to see it. No one will stop you. No one can bring you down. You will fight through pain. You will fight through words. You will fight through rejection. This makes sense. So start writing down your whys. Big to small. Maybe your why is a house. Maybe you want to own your house. Maybe you're in so much debt that it's allowing you to sink. You're drowning. You're going, I can't even breathe. Anybody here have an asthma attack? Yeah. Where the only thing you can think about is breathing? Maybe you're buried in that much debt where you're drowning. Is that enough to get you through the rejection? I hope so. You know, my parents obviously had their picture in Success magazine, helping families build houses. But I can tell you that servant leaders, being of service, is my why. I didn't realize how many people I would serve. Think about how many you have, and maybe you don't even know. You see, as a new business owner, you're going to be very self-motivated. But as you grow your business and you see all the people that you're encouraging, that you're motivating, you're saying, you can do this, you're going to realize that the money, the house, the cars, does not matter at all. Nothing does. Why do you think my parents keep growing ACN? You think it's for more money? Please. They would have quit a long time ago. No. It's because they love helping you. You're family to them. And they don't let family fail. You see, wind is a very unique element. It can shift at any moment. And that's what happened in my business. I got the strength. I got my why. I got my endurance. That when my tailwind shifted, when the wind shifted towards me, and now it was running with me, I ran even faster than before. Mark and Teresa Palos, you think I would have had enough endurance, enough of a why to work with that kind of leadership, to work with that kind of team? There's no way. You see, there's a purpose to a dead leg. There's a purpose to a headwind. It's to make you stronger. It's to make you faster for senior vice president. You see, there's a story of a young man to wrap things up. And maybe this is you. Maybe this is somebody you know. Maybe this is your inner child. Maybe this is your children. Maybe this is your mom and dad. But there is a young man that wanted success so bad that he went to the most successful person he knew. And he said, "Guru, what is the secret to success?" And that guru said, "Meet me at the beach at 4 a.m. Now, I'm not a morning person, neither was he, but he wanted it so bad. He said, "I'll be there." So the next morning, he woke up, looked his best, combed his hair, brushed his teeth, got his best suit on, Italian. And he's running out to the beach. Boom. "All right, guru, I'm ready. What's the key to success?" I got my notes. He said, "Follow me to the water." He said, "I'd sign up for swimming." He said, "You want to learn the key to success? Follow me to the water." He grabbed his hand and said, "You really want it?" He said, "Yeah." So he started walking. Waist deep. Waist deep, he stopped. He said, "This man's crazy." Realized the tide's crashing, it's dark out still, there's wind. He goes, "This guru's crazy, man. He's going to kill me or something?" His key to success, he just steals people's cigarettes? No. He said, "I didn't sign up to be a lifeguard because I'm not going to save you if you start drowning, right?" Guru said, "That's fine. You can walk away to the ocean, or walk away from the ocean. You can go to the beach. You can have fun with your friends, party, all that stuff, right?" He said, "No, I want it bad. I want it bad." How many of you have felt of walking away from the ocean because it was too cold, or maybe, it just wasn't fun, right? You just didn't want it bad enough. You wanted it sort of. But you know what? The young man said, "No, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to learn the key to success." And so he went out to the ocean, and right as he got to his neck, the guru pushed him down. And he's fighting, and he's scratching. He's clawing, and right before he passes out, the guru lifts him up and takes him and asks him a question. "You want to know the key to success? Until you want to succeed, as bad as you want to breathe, you will not succeed." Think about asthma attacks. Any of you have one where you're just... What's the one thing you can only think about? Getting a fresh breath of air. I have people say to me all the time, "Darin, I want to be successful." No. Most of you in this room only want to sort of be successful. Most of you. Truth hurts, but that's the point. The point is, I care enough about you to tell you this story. Because some of you sort of want it. And I'm telling you, the only way to be successful is 100% belief. You got to start right now. You got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be willing to forget to eat because you're so engaged. There's days in ACN where I went without eating for 4 days. I was so engaged, and people always ask me, Darin, when are you going to eat? My team asked me that yesterday. All we see you doing is drinking coffee. I'm Darin. I'm addicted to coffee. But you know what I tell them? If I take time to eat, that means I'm taking away from my opportunity, and I'm taking away from yours. So I leave you with this. Believe. The next person I want to bring up, ladies and gentlemen, is a person I highly respect. This person is a regional vice